Hi everyone, good day to you. My name is Tim, and today we're going to create a LVM partition and extend that very same partition on Red Hat Enterprise Linux version 6. For this demonstration, I have added a second hard drive to my VM, and this hard drive is 15 gigs. In addition, I have created this simple diagram. I'll be the first to admit that LVM can be very confusing in the beginning. It was definitely very confusing to me. That is because LVM has many layers, but like almost anything else, the more practice that you have, the better you're gonna be. Alright, so let's begin. The first thing that we want to do is go and access the hard drive that has been the second hard drive that was installed. So it's fdisk dev sdb. Now SDA represents my first primary hard drive, which has my operating system on it. So we're going to access SDB. We type P, and we'll see right here that the hard drive is around 16 gigs in size, and it has 1,958 cylinders. So what we want to do first is create the extended partition, and to do that we type in N for new, then E for extended. We're going to give it partition number 1, and hit enter to use the first available cylinder, and hit enter to use the last available cylinder. So we're going to use the whole disk. Type P, and we see that our extended partition is right here. Next thing that we want to do is create these 3 logical partitions, and to do that we type in N for new again, type L for logical, and hit enter to use the first available cylinder. And right here I'm going to put in plus 652. So why 652? Well, if you take 1,958 and divide it by 3, you get a number around 652. I'm trying to create 3 logical partitions of the same size. So I hit enter and I type P, and right here we see that our first logical partition has been created. So I type N again, then L again, enter, plus 652, enter, and for the last one, N for new, L for logical, enter, use the first available cylinder, and right now I'm just going to hit enter to use the last available cylinder. I want to use up the whole disk. Type P, and we have just created 3 logical partitions. Okay, very good. So we need to change these partitions from Linux to Linux LVM. To do that, you type T, and it's asking you which partition number do you want to work on. Well, it's not partition number 1 because that is our extended partition. Instead, we're going to work on partition 5, 6, and 7. So let me type 5, and I'm going to type L to list the partition codes. And right here are all the crazy partition codes. We're looking at this one, 8E, Linux LVM. So we type in 8E, type T, and partition 5 is now a Linux LVM partition. So let's do the same for partition 6 and 7. Type T, 6, 8E, enter, T, 7, 8E, enter. I'll type P again, and our 3 new logical partitions are now Linux LVM partitions. Excellent. So let's type in W to write the changes, and we have just exited from fdisk. So let's go back to our diagram. We've done this part. We've created the logical partitions. Now we want to create the LVM physical volumes, and to do that we type, well, let's do this first, fdisk -L dev sdb. So I'm going to use these guys, these 3, to create the LVM physical volumes. So I'll type pv create dev sdb5, dev sdb6, and dev sdb7. Hit enter. 5, 6, and 7 successfully created. Alright, very good. And next, we want to create the LVM volume group. Now, I'm only going to use the first two physical volumes because I need the third one to demonstrate how to extend a LVM volume. So, to do that, let me type PVS, and it shows that I have 3 new physical volumes which are not attached to any volume group. So what I'm going to do is type in VG create, and I'll give the volume group a name, and I'll give it the name VG1, and I'll say that dev SDV5 and dev SDV6 are part of this volume group. I hit enter, and volume group VG1 has been successfully created. If I type in VGS, it says that volume group of VG1 has the size of 10 gigs, so we're doing good. So now we want to create the LVM logical volume. So for a logical volume, you can create multiple logical volumes on a single volume group. So let's say I split this in half. I can have 2 logical volumes on a single volume group. But for now, I'm just going to create 1 logical volume on this volume group. To do that, you type lv create -l. I'm going to type in 100% free vg1-n lvs. Okay, so this command is saying use 100% of the free space on volume group 1 or VG1, and give it the name, LV1. Little typo there. Let me hit enter, and logical volume LV1 has been created. I type LVS, and our logical volume is a 10 gig volume. Okay. So next thing we want to do is create the extended4 file system on the newly created logical volume. And to do this, we'll type mkfs.extended4 dev vg1 lv1, and we have just created an extended4 file system. Very good. Okay, so let's now mount this. I'm going to create a folder called a directory called data, and I'm going to mount our new logical volume, or our new file system, to data. To do that, I have to edit the fstat file. So we're saying dev vg1 lv1 data extended4. I'm going to use the default settings 00 right quit. If I type in mount -a, it's going to mount everything in the fstat file. If I type mount, it's going to tell me what's mounted, and right here VG1 LV1 is mounted on the data folder. Excellent. So if I type in df-h data, we see that our newly created volume is 9.9 gigs in size. Well, let's run it up to 10 gigs. Okay, we're doing good. So now that we're here, let us extend our new volume group. So we have, I'm going to take the third LVM physical volume and make it a part of the LVM volume group. So let's do that. Let me type in PVS, and I see that SDV7 is not associated with any volume groups. So if I type in VG extend VG1 dev SDV7, it's going to add that. Okay, it added that partition. Added the physical volume to the volume group VG1. If I type VGS, VG1 is now 14.99 gigs in size. Okay. Now we need to extend the logical volume. So I type in LV extend and we have to type out the full path to, I'm sorry, the full path to the logical volume, which is def vg1 lv1. I type -l and I put down 100% vg. So what this is saying is that I want our volume, our logical volume lv1 to use 100% of the volume group. I type in enter, and our logical volume has been extended to 14.99 gigs. So let's round it off to 15. But there is one more thing here. If I type in df-h data, we see that our file system is still only 9.9 gigs. Our volume group has been extended to 15 gigs. Our logical volume has been extended to 15 gigs. But our file system is still at 9.9 gigs. So there is a command to change that. And please know that all this is live right now. So let me actually go to data, cd data, touch file 1, file 2, file 3. You can see that this folder is mounted, so it's live right now. Okay. So if I type, so let's go back to the command to resize the file, file system. I'll type in resize to fs, and I'll type in the path to the logical volume, which is def vg1 lv1, hit enter, and the modification has started, and it really doesn't take so long. Should be done. It's done right now. Okay, we're finished. So if I I'm sorry, I type in df-h data, we see that our file system is now 15 gigs in size. So we're doing okay. So this concludes our demonstration. I thank you for your time. I thank you for watching this video. I hope that this has been helpful. I'm wishing you all a very good day. Thank you, and God bless.